Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ghani Ahmad Ramdhani and I'm from Class B, Education in Language for Classroom. I will convey about how to teach English managing classroom. If you want to manage classroom effectively, we have to be able to handle a range of variables. This includes how the classroom space is organized, whether the students are working on their own or in groups, and how we organize classroom time. We also need to consider how we appear to the students and how we use our most valuable assets. That's our voice. The teacher in the classroom. The teacher in the classrooms. So our physical presence can play a large part in our management of the classroom environment. And it's not just appearance either. The way we move and stand and the degree to which we are physically demonstrative can have a clear impact on the management of the class. Most importantly, the way we are able to respond to what happens in class. The degree to which we are aware of what is going on often marks the difference between successful teaching and less satisfactory lessons. And all teachers, like all people, have their own physical characteristics and habits, and they will take this into the classroom with them. But there are a number of issues to consider which are not just matters of personality or style, and which have a direct bearing on the students' perceptions of us. And the next, proximity. Teachers need to consider how close they should be to the students they are working with. Some students are uncomfortable if their teacher stands or sits close to them. For some, on the other hand, this stand is a sign of coldness. So the teacher should be conscious of how close they are to their students and should take this into account when assessing their students' reaction and should, if necessary, modify their behavior. Next one, appreciation. Deciding how close to the students you should be when you work with them is a matter of appreciation. So is the general way in which teachers sit or stand in the classroom. Many teachers create an extremely friendly atmosphere by crouching down when they work with students in pairs. In this way, they are the same level as their students. However, some students find this informality worrying, and some teachers are even happy to sit on the floor, and in certain situations this may be appropriate. But in others, it may well lead to a situation where students are put off concentrating. And the next one, how to teach English managing the classroom, is movement. Some teachers tend to spend most of their class time in one place, at the front of the class, for example, or to the side or in the middle. Others spend a great deal of time walking from side to side or standing up and down the spaces between the chairs. Although this, again, is to some extent a matter of personal preference, it is worth remembering that motionless teachers can bore students, while teachers who are constantly in motion can tune their students into tense spectators, or their heads moving from side to side until they become exhausted. And the next one is awareness. In order to manage a class successfully, the teacher has to be aware of what students are doing and, where possible, or how they are feeling. This means watching and listening just as carefully as teaching. This will be difficult if we keep too much distance, or we are perceived by the students to be cold and aloof, because then we will find it difficult to establish the kind of rapport. Awareness means assessing what students have said and responding appropriately. According to the writer Michael Lewis, a colleague of his, Peter Wilberg, put this perfectly when he said that the teacher's primary responsibility is responsibility. This means being able to perceive the success or failure of what is taking place in the classroom, and being flexible enough to respond to what's going on. And the next one, using the voice. Perhaps our most important instrument as teachers is our voice. How we speak and what our voice sound like have a crucial impact on classes. When considering the use of the voice in the management of teaching, there are three issues to think about. The first one is audibility. Clearly, teachers need to be audible. They must be sure that the students at the back of the class can hear them just as well as those at the front. But audibility can be divorced from voice quality. The second one is variety. It is important for teachers to vary the quality of their voices and the volume they speak according to the type of lesson and the type of activity. The kind of voice we use to give instruction or introduce a new activity will be different from the voice which is most appropriate of conversations or an informal exchange of view or information. And the third one is conservation. Just like opera singers, teachers have to take great care of their voices. It is important that they breathe correctly so that they don't strain their larynxes. Breathing properly means being relaxed and using the lower abdomen to help expand the rib cage, thus filling the lungs with air. The next one, talking to students. One group of people who seem to find it fairly natural to adapt their language to their audience of parents when they talk to their young children. Studies show that they use more exaggerated tones of voice and speak with less complex grammatical structures than they would if they were talking to adults. Their vocabulary is generally more restricted, and they make more frequent attempts to establish eye contact, and they use other forms of physical contact.